Okay. Good morning, guys. We will continue talking about thinking in objects, but we are going to talk about thinking in objects, part number 2. So we have talked about part number 1, and now we are going to continue this lecture and talk about thinking in objects, part number 2, not part number 1. In part number 1, we have talked about, if you remember, boxing, sorry for this, we have talked about, in part 1, we have talked about abstraction, and also we have talked about UML relation or UML association. Okay. And also we have mentioned that there are 3 types of this relation here: association. Also we have aggregation, and we have composition. And also we have talked about some relation, type of relation اللي هما one to one, many to many, and one to many, or many to one. We have mentioned some examples about this type of relation, and also we have mentioned some, or not mentioned, we have actually talked about some Java program and explain how we have implemented the composition and the aggregation inside our Java program or Java application. Again, we have talked about abstraction, UML, representation. We have talked about relation, association, aggregation, composition. We have talked about one-to-one, many-to-many, many-to-one, and one-to-many. And also we have mentioned some example about these. And finally, we have talked, yes, we have talked about some Java program and Java application, and we have mentioned how we have applied the aggregation and we apply the composition inside our program. And we have said that UML is a kind of visual representation. So we can write our UML before coding. So this will help us to design or create our classes inside Java. And again, we have talked about abstraction here. And we said that sometimes users do not need to see the details of implementing a function or how these details have been implemented. Today we will continue talking about, in part 2 again. In part 2 we will continue talking about boxing, unboxing. We will talk about big decimals, big integer classes. We will talk about string and string buffer. So now the primitive data type, as we have mentioned in our previous lecture, are integer, float, character. Okay, and we have we normally define them as a variable here, and also we have a class of integer and a class of type float and another class of type Boolean and string, character, and so on. So now we will continue talking and we will explain the difference between primitive value and a class. Now, as you can see here, we have primitive type and robbery class. And as we have mentioned here, we have 80 classes to define to handle number. These classes are called robbery class as shown in the table. So here we have Boolean robbery class, and Boolean primitive type. Also for character, byte, short, integer, long, float, double. And we have here the primitive type. So what do we mean by this? Now we can change a Boolean, a variable of type Boolean, to a class of type Boolean using our robbery class. So this process is called boxing, because it is just like taking this variable, for example B, and convert it to a class. Okay, and this class, now this variable is of type not Boolean type, it is of type Boolean class. So you can use all the method inside this class. So it is somehow you are surrounding this B inside a box. So this is why we call it boxing. And somehow we sometimes we need to convert the class to its primitive value, the variable of type class to its primitive value. So it will be like the primitive value that you already know. So you can deal with this variable as a primitive value. The same for character, byte, short. So, and integer for, again, you can define a value of type integer. You can deal it the way you like, and then you can box it to the boxing and convert it to integer class. That means you can now use all the integer method and feature inside the integer class dealing with this variable. This is what we call, again, boxing. Now we can also convert it from type class to its primitive value, and this is called an unboxing, as you can see here. Now, again, always the class name start with capital letter. Don't forget that at all. Okay, now I will go to next slide. Here are some integer constant. As you can see here, why I have said these are integer. This is a UML, by the way, UML. So we have a class called integer and a class called double. And for example, here we have some data member inside this integer class, which is value, which is type integer. and we have some constant inside the class, and the same for the double. We have value and we have some constant like max value and min value. Now, if you have seen anything start with value like this or contain the word value, that means you are going to convert it to its primitive value. Okay, you are going to convert it to its primitive value. So now I prefer in this lecture to run some line of code in front of you to make everything easier to you to understand. So now I will go to NetBeans and try to run the maximum value, min value for integer and double. Let's see what would happen here. I will go now to NetBeans. I will go to the first here, the first lines of code here. I will try to uncomment and comment and every time I am running the code to help you to understand. So now I have uncomment this line of code and commented the below one. Now here, guys, you can see how I have used the integer class, integer.min value, double.min integer. I have printed here integer dot max value, integer dot min value, double dot max, double dot min value, and also I will maximize the font for you. And also I have printed, for example, the by dot minimum value and the short dot maximum value. So these are constant inside the class. How did I know that these are constant? Because as you can see, all the characters are maximized, all the characters are capitalized, and the word separated by underscore. So now I will run the code and we will see the results here. Now here is the maximum value for integer, the minimum value for integer, the maximum value for double, the minimum value for double, and we have the minimum value for by, the maximum value for short. Okay, so these classes contain a constant, and these are the constant here. Okay, now I will go back to the slides and explain the other things. As you can see here, we have integer class. Okay, this is the type of the method, and this is the return type of the method. Okay, so here I am, for example, here I have a constructor take integer value and convert it to integer class. And as you can see here, this is a public, this is public, and these are public, this is private, sorry, private, public, 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 and all the pluses here. That means all these constructor and method are public. So here I am taking the value x, integer x, and converted it to class. So I am here doing boxing. Another example here, I am taking a string and convert it to integer class. Do we need to do that? Yes, we need sometimes to do that because this number might be a string inside text box for 1, 2, 3. So you have to convert it to integer class to do something. So because this number inside a text box, they are considered as string. And sometimes you need to convert these strings to integer class and integer value to do something. And here we have byte value, convert to byte. To a byte. Here we have something called short value, convert the value to short value, and these are here primitive value. Here we are converting to long primitive value, float primitive value, double float, double primitive value. And the same if here we have constructor, take a double value and convert it to double class, and here it might take a string and convert it to a string to a double class. And here we are taking a byte and convert it to a byte value. We can take a short class variable of type short and convert it to short primitive value, integer primitive value, float, and so on. So now to make things clear to you, we will try to run some of these examples to show you what is really happening in Java. I will now uncomment this line of code. Okay. And remove the comments of some line of code. Now here, as you can see, in my first example, I am doing boxing. What I have done here, I have defined a primitive value of type integer. Then I have converted from primitive to integer class. I have defined it by x capital. Then I have added or written x plus 1. Then I have printed x as integer class, which is of type integer class. It's of type integer I capital to x. Now here we have a warning. What is the warning says here? It says, let me just highlight. As you can see here, unnecessary boxing to integer. They are telling you, the compiler give you a warning, which is called تحذير, يعني إنه هذا ما في داعي للتحويل. No need to convert unnecessary boxing to integer. Unnecessary boxing to integer. That he telling you that you have integer value, so why you are, and the number is integer, why you are converted it to integer. Maybe you might need, they just, the compiler warning you here, warns you or give you a warning about this. So now you have converted this value to a class integer. Let's take a look at this, closer look at this here. Here I will write x to something. Okay, nothing appeared to me because it is a primitive value. Now I have converted to big X or capital X, X dot. As you can see here, all the method related to integer class has shown up to me. Okay, so because now X is of type integer, or it is of type the integer robber class. So let's run. Here we have converted integer to integer robber class. Then we have added one, so the value here will be 500. Again here, let's take a look what happened here in the second line of code here. I will run them once I finish. Here we have defined a string called num, and it contains 50. Now I have converted num from string to integer. If you look here again at the code here, I have used this robbery class, converted from string to integer. Again, do we need that? Yes, we need that, because sometimes, as I have said, integer value are written inside text box, and these text box are of type string, so you need to convert them to integer and do your calculation. Then I have multiply here num star by 10, and then I have printed the num. It will be printed to the value will be 500. Here the value also will be 500, because I have added 1 to this number. Then I have, and also here I have printed the number by 10. I want to show you that you can do any mathematical operation here. Then I have printed the num. Now I have converted the num integer, which is of type integer robbery class, to integer value. Then I have printed y. So let's take a look at this now. شوفوا هنا شباب، هذا string، قولوا له num dot، طلع لي ميثود السترينج كلها لأنه هو string هنا في هذا اللاين. Here I have converted it to integer num dot integer، طلع لي الانتجر classes here, or integer method, sorry. Then here in y I have to convert it to primitive value y dot, nothing appeared to me because it is a primitive value. So sometimes you need to convert from class string to integer, then from integer class to primitive value, and so on. And this depends on the purpose of your work or what you want to do. So we have the flexibility in Java to convert from type to another type. I will run the code now and you will see here. Sorry, I did not commit the other line, of course, so I will commit them. Then I run the code again here. I will commit from here to here. شوفوا هنا we have printed 500. Let's take another look again at the code. Here it was a primitive value. I have converted to a robbery class, and I have did my calculation, and the compiler told me that it is not necessary to do that because it is already integer. Now here I have use another constructor of integer which receive string. Then I have converted the string to integer robbery class. I have multiplied it by 10. Then I have printed the value here, the num, and I have converted to primitive value. And you have seen the how the method the methods of each type have the methods of each type of this robbery class have been changed based on my conversion. يعني على التحويل. Now let's try something like this. Can we convert this to integer? Let's run. As you can see here, we have exception. So sometimes before parsing, this cannot convert to string. This string cannot be converted to integer, as you can see, because it cannot be converted. Simple as this. We have character here. So you have to be careful when you convert, and you have to check if this can be converted or not, using if statement or not using if statement, and using to check if this can convert it or not. You will study later, try and catch. try and catch later inshallah. But be careful with these. You cannot everything, not all the string can be converted to integer. Now, as you can see here, we have an exception or a runtime error. Okay, it is not a compilation error, it is a runtime error because this happened during running my application. Again, I will go now back to slides. So here what we have done, we have converted string to integer, then we have taken the integer and converted it to primitive value. The same work with double. We can take the double value and convert them again to double primitive value, and we can also take a string and so on. I will show you the next example now. Here. To here. Now I will just keep X because I have used X now here inside the code here, so I need it. I need it here. Now I have used here X. What's X? It is here the integer value. Then I have compared it with X. I have compared X to num. Both of them are 500. If you remember, this is 500, this is 500. So here the compare will return 0. The compare have 3 options. It can return 1. If the first number, it will return 1 if the first number is bigger than the second number, and it will return 0 if they are equal, and it will return -1 if X is less than the number here. So here we will return here we will the result will be 0, and here we are trying just to use the double constructor. We have used the double parse double, that means convert this string to a double. It is of type class. Then I have printed D. If the number is wrong, then the runtime, if here is not a number, or the number contains letter, the value will not be printed correctly. Okay, so now I will run until here. I comment and run until here. Here I have compare and print to convert the string to double using the parse double. So now I will run and you will see what would happen here. I will write here the num sorry, I will make it 50 as it was. Then I will try to run again. As you can see here, 500, 500, 500. Now I have compare between them here. So X is 500, 5 by 10, 50 by 10 is 500, and 4 double 9 plus 1 is 500. So they are equal. So I have returned here 0. After that, I have parse or convert the string to double. This is not a primitive value. I have converted the string to a double proper class. Then I have printed the value, which is 400.25. Now, again, take a look here. I can here write, because it is a class, so d dot. As you can see, all the method appear to me because it is a class. I have here converted string to double. Can I convert the double to primitive value? Yes. I can here write double value. This will convert the value from double class to a double primitive value. خلينا نشوف we can يعني write this here double d يساوي equal اللي هي d dot double value d dot double value. Again, he will tell you the compiler will tell you that there is no need to convert. Again, I can print here sorry, I can print here d. Okay, now as we have seen before, d dot something, all the method will appear to me. But now if I have converted to double value, nothing will appear to me. And then I have printed d and d, so both value will be printed to the screen. This one, the result of execution, this one, and the result of execution, this one. Okay, now I will go to the other line of code here. Take this here and put it here, commit. Then I will open this value. Sorry, I will uncommit this line of code here until here. Okay. So now here we have, again, we have talked about this. Now I will go to next slide. We have run this line of code. As you can see here, we have passed a primitive value. We have converted it to integer. And here we have assigned the value from integer class to integer primitive value. We can do something like this. This is what we call autoboxing. This is what we call unboxing. So here integer can take integer value and create an object, and also it can take a string, but the string should be consist of digits, and also this will take a double value and create not integer object here. It's supposed to create a double object, and also here create a double object here. And again, it will take the string and convert it to double. So this should be convertible. So you need to check either by using if statement or what you will study later. We call it another control statement to check the error or to validate the error, which we call a try catch. A try catch. Right. I will go now to next slide. Here we have another not another, actually we have talked about this. For every type we have minimum value, we have maximum value, as we have mentioned before. For the integer we have the minimum and the maximum. You don't have to memorize these things, just we need to know that we have two constant, and this constant can be used in byte, short, integer, double, long. You can use the minimum value and the maximum value. These are constant inside the classes and you can use them. So the minimum value, print the minimum value corresponding to the robbery class, and the maximum value the maximum value, print the maximum value for the corresponding robbery class, and the minimum value, print the minimum value. But now I will go here again and again, and if you can see this activity here, we have type, size, and value, max value. Here, what we have done in this activity, we just print the type and the size, minimum value, maximum value for byte, short, character, integer, character, integer, float, double, long. But here for the character, we cannot print the minimum value. If we have printed without integer, the symbol will not be readable or visible with you, and also the maximum value for the character will not be visible for you. It will be just like something looks like square. Okay, so we have converted them to integer to see them. So as we have minimum value and maximum value for the library class, also we have type, size for every class. Now I will show you a brief or small example about this. I will go to NetBeans again. As you can see here, I have uncomment this line, integer.type, integer.size, double, etc. And we have printed the minimum value, maximum value, minimum value, and maximum value here for the character. And you will see that here the value is visible when I have used the casting here, but here the value are not visible here, and here is not understood to me. So if you want to use the minimum integer, it would be better to see the minimum and maximum value for character. Again, I will run the code here. As you can see, integer type is of type integer, size 32 bytes, the double type is double, size is 64 byte. We have also the type plus short هو byte, السايز هو 16 byte. الآن المينيمم فاليو للكاركتر هي 0. الماكسيمم فاليو هي something like this. The minimum value without converting to integer, you cannot see it here. It is invisible character to us. The maximum value is for the character, it is something like this. So character looks like integer, shabab. Okay, but the minimum value for the character is 0, and no ASCII code in minus for character. No ASCII code. There is no ASCII code less than 0 for character, and also we have no ASCII code will be more than 65,535. Okay. So just we don't want to memorize this, but we want to know that we have type, size, minimum, and maximum value for this. I will clear a drawing and go to the slide again. Now I will comment this line of code. Uncomment this line of code here and comment the below one. Here we have converted using the parse integer, integer.parse integer, and integer.parse integer, and we will see the results after talking, after seeing the slides. Here, the type and the size again. I will go and the minimum value, maximum value for each type. Now I will go to this slide, converting from a converting method. As we have said, each numeric robbery class implement the abstract method, double value, float value, integer value, long value, short value. Anything contain the word value means this function converts the robbery class value to its primitive value. So here we have convert 1 to from its class to primitive value. Sorry, this we have here now the numeric robbery class value always convert to primitive value. The numeric robbery class has useful class method value of هذه الvalue of شو بتعمل؟ تأخذ القيمة. This method create a new object, initialize to the value represented by the specific string, for example. As we have said here, we can pass the integer here as string and convert it to integer. And also we can take this here and convert it to double of type class. This double value and convert it to double class. So here we are taking the primitive value, converted to integer class. هذه primitive converted to class. هذا called boxing. Okay. Why we call this boxing? Because I have defined here a class. So I am taking the value and convert it to a robbery class. Here I am taking the string value and convert it to a robbery class of type integer. Here I am taking the double value and convert it to the robbery class here. And the same for this string. I am taking the string value and convert it here, as we have mentioned in our previous slides. Okay. So I can convert it from a value to a class or from a class to return to its value. If I convert it to a robbery class, I will be able to use all the methods there inside this class. So I might use this method to convert or do some calculation and so on. Now here we have an example for something called parsing, parse integer and parse double. Okay. These methods are inside the integer. These methods are inside the integer robbery class and double class. We have parse double. This took the number, primitive value, and convert it to a class. And this one also take the number, another way of converting primitive value to class, to parse integer. Okay. Now, and this one also here, take the number, but here we are using base 16. So here we will convert it not to decimal. هذا decimal. هنا راح نحول هذا الرقم للهكساديسيمال اللي هو النظام السادس عشر. ممكن تستخدم فيه نظام called 23 base له 23. في نظام اللي هو 2 هو الباينري. Now with example that would be يعني more clear to you or easier to understand when I will go now to the application and run this line of code. Sorry for this. Here is parse integer. Look at this. I took a string here, converted to integer I, class I, and I have a printed I, but this will be printed in the hexadecimal. يعني the value of 100 in hexadecimal is something. The value of 100 in decimal. The value in the of 100 in the binary system. Now let's take a look at this. So here we have هذه في النظام السادس عشر هي تمثل تعبر عن هذا القيمة. أوكي. ال 100 هي 100. هذه في النظام الثنائي يعني this in the hexadecimal هي كده. كم قيمتها هي؟ 256. يعني هو we are telling you that this number is in the hexadecimal. So what is the value of this hexadecimal number in the decimal representation? So it is 0 0 1 في الهكساديسيمال يعني 16 للقوة 0 16 للقوة 1 and 16 to the power 2. فهذا صفر ضرب هذا صفر ضرب هذا صفر 1 في 16 to the power 2. It is something like this. Right? If you want to use the calculator, you can use the calculator and calc 16 multiplied by 16, which is 256. It is the same result here. So here we are saying or telling the Java that this number is in the hexadecimal. What is the value of it? And this number in the decimal. So the value of this number will be 100. The value of this number will be 256, and the value of this number is 4. Again, if you remember what you have studied maybe in the prep year, here 0, 0, and 1. So here 2 to the power 0, 2 to the power 1, and 2 to the power 2. 0 multiply anything is 0, and here it's 0. And here we have 2 to the power 2, which is 4. So here I am telling you, I am telling the compiler to find the decimal value for this number, which is in the binary representation. Okay, binary system representation. And I asking the compiler to find or to convert this number from hexadecimal and find the corresponding value in the decimal representation, and so on. Okay, that's all for the bars. So here we have the base. Here we have the base. Does this work with the double? Yes, it works with the double value. Okay, with the double value. There is a base called 23. You have to find the corresponding value for it in the double. We will not ask you about calculation. We just want you to understand what do you mean by this. So you are telling here Java that this number in the hexadecimal. What is the decimal representation for this? And this number in the 23 base, what is the decimal representation for this number? You can add here 8, can add also الأوكتال اللي هو الثامن. When we have also you can add اللي هو الباينري again, and so on. Now I will go to next slide here. As we have said, parse integer also here will cause an error. Why? Because I am trying to convert a string contains character to use, we are telling the compiler that this is a decimal number and we want to try it to integer. But actually in our decimal system, the system that we are familiar with, اللي هو النظام العشري، ما عندي هذا الرقم في النظام، هذا ليس رقم. It's not a number in the decimal system في النظام العشري، فهو ما راح يقدر يحوله، فراح يعطيك هنا error. Will give you an error, but here the number is in the hexadecimal النظام السادس عشر. Okay, so can this be converted? Yes, because النظام السادس عشر هو الأعداد من 0 إلى 9 and from A to F. So 0 is from 0 to 9, 1 is from 0 to 9, 0 is from 0 to 9, A is between A to F. So this is a valid number in the في النظام السادس عشر hexadecimal. So this can be converted to here and the result will be printed. Okay, so it is not an error. أعطي قيمة معينة. A value will be printed here. And it seems here there is another base for numbering system, which is 29. As you can see here, it contains all the digits from 0 to 9 and the character from A to S. And who are from 0 to 9 and from A to S. Okay, so these numbers are good, correct, within the range, and this number is within the K is within the range, S is within the range, and also A is within the range. So here no error and the result will be printed correctly. Very clear now. Now we will talk about big decimal and big integer here. Now, big integer is a class used for mathematical operation. Okay, contains a number outside the limit of available primitive data type. So let's suppose that I have integer value, but these integer value are too high or too large, so I cannot handle this integer value that using the primitive data type, so I can use big decimal. Okay, so any number that consists that is a very high number and does not contain decimal point or floating point can be, we can deal with this number using the big integer here, and also we have the big decimal also. So this provide operation on double number that it can be handled very large and very small floating point number with a great precision مع دقة كبيرة. And again for the big integer we can deal with very big integer calculation that outside of the limit of all available primitive data type. Big integer and big decimal are packages inside the Java math class. So we need to onboard them import them using the import statement. Okay. Both are immutable. I have talked about immutable for. I will leave you this. If anyone can tell me what is it, it is we mean by immutable that this number one, it's initialized using the constructor. You don't have any way to change it. Both extend the number class and implement the comparable interface. Okay, so we can compare number using this number using comparable interface. We need to implement something. Implements something here, a class here or an interface. Now I will go to the code here and tell you what would happen here. Look at this, guys. Here we have here defined a big integer. We have defined another big integer. As you can see here, I have B big integer, A big integer. So as you can see, big integer contains a lot of rich library like multiply, add, clear, mode power, mode reverse, min, max. Of course, no one can memorize all of these methods, but you have to search for this method if you have or if you needed them. Here I have these two numbers. I have multiply the A by B. Okay, A multiplied by B, then I have printed. So the idea here, can I deal with big number of type integer that does not contain decimal point or floating point? Yes, I can. Can we deal with big decimal number? Yes. Okay. With a high precision? Yes, we can. Of course, we need, if you have seen here, let's suppose that I have committed this statement and I did not import the math package here, we will have error. So in order to use these classes, as we have mentioned in the class, I have to import the math package. Here. So here we will run now and look at the result. Look at the result here. As you can see here, we have multiplied this number by 2 and we have divided this number by 2. Now, this one I think is clear to you. Multiply by 2. As a C, we have printed C here. Now here I have defined three big decimal number for the first number, second number, and for the third number to print the result. Let's take a closer look at this one. D.divide D on E. Divide D on E and take. Now the results will contain decimal point of division, maybe yani for some decimal point here because it is a big decimal. So now I ask the user to, I ask using this method, I tell him to show only 5 decimal points. As you can see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and rounding up any results before. So if the number here is after 0 is less than 4, less than 5 or more, the number here will be converted to 1. So we have here round up, round down, ceiling up, ceiling floor, whatever. I will show you some result here. So here the result, I will show you some method now later. Now here I have divided this number على 2 فيطلع هذا الرقم وقلت له and told him to show 5 decimal number, and if we have any other number in the here in the 6th order or in the 6th place here, I will round it up. Okay, so here as you can see, big integer and big decimal are rich value. I can write here, for example, 7. Look at the result now. 1, 2, 3, 7. That means value here is converted. We have shown 7 decimal places. And again, I can use big decimal dot. We have, big decimal dot. Round up, round down, round the floor, round half down, round half even, round half up, round unnecessary, etc. Okay, so if you want to try all of these concepts, you can try. No one can memorize all of these things. He should try these and check the number or the results. You might need them in some formula. It's if you want to get a high precision, if you want to get accurate or very accurate number, okay, and this number, you know that it most probably will contain a lot of decimal point, so you can use big decimal, round up, round down, round seal, whatever this function, and you can specify the number of decimal points shown to you. So maybe this used in a chemical formula, maybe something critical, and so on. Now we have talked about decimal and big decimal. Now we have also here, we have another example here. We have here multiply by 2, and we have printed, and here we have divided by p, and we have shown 20 decimal number, and we have round up. So as you can see here, as we have mentioned, big integer used for big integer number out of the limit, and big decimal used for decimal for that numbers that contains decimal point, and you expect that the results will contain a lot of floating point or a lot of decimal places, so we prefer to use big integer and big decimal. Again, as we have mentioned, Java is a very rich language and contains a lot of library and so on. Now here is the factorial of something. This method is used to find the factorial of 20. The factorial of 20 is a very big number, as you can see here. So what we have used here, we have import java.math.big integer. You can import java.math.big decimal. And if you want to import them both, you can write 2 statements, and you can write import java.star as we have written here. Sorry, I'm opening the email as we have written here, if you can see the screen. So here is the factorial of this. All of you know the factorial. I will not trace the code. We have studied this in Introduction and Fundamental of Programming. We are considering that the value of the initial value is 1. Why we have assigned it to 1? Because any number, if it is not initialized, it will be 0. So if you have multiply any number by 0, it will be 0. So I have initialized this if first of all to 1 to ensure that the result will be correct and the result will not be 0. If I did not initialize, the result will become 0. And I have written here my for statement to find the factorial of 9. Now here the number is too big, so I have used the big integer. No, using integer value, we cannot handle this. Why? Because integer value cannot contain very big number. This is out of the limit. If you want to check the limit, you can, again, as we have mentioned in our previous class, you print on the screen integer.maximum value and integer.minimum value. I believe that this number is greater than the maximum value. Again, now we will talk about a string. And also we'll talk about string builder. And we will talk about string buffer. And we will run some some line of code during this lecture. Now, strings, guys, are immutable class. So once you initialize the constant, you will not be able to change it. Once it's created, you cannot be able to change it. So this was a limitation in Java. So now I have initialized this string or this string or this string. However, now I want to change it. I cannot change it. Simply, look what would happen here in the next slide. Okay, now here I have initialized Java, here HTML. Now after execution, Java, as you can see, it is string is a class, so I am referring to this one. So I have, for example, I have put s equal Java. So now s is looking at this string and the string contains the value Java. Now here after executing, then I have written s equal HTML here. Okay. Now the value will not be here. It will be, look at this one. So here it's how Sarana here, this string object is row is unreferenced. So as we have said before, something in Java called garbage collection, it will remove all of these things, unneeded references. Garbage collector, it will remove all unneeded references. So this is for somehow, because Java string in Java are immutable. Now Java has added two other library, which is called string builder and string buffer. Okay. These string builder and the string buffer are or contains a lot of methods, a lot of library. You can insert, edit, delete, append, modify the string easily, and also it contains a lot of methods. Very useful and good method. We will, inshallah, go over them through this lecture. Now I will go to the code to see what's happening. So why we have added these two classes, string buffer and string builder, because string are immutable in Java. And it will, if you have, for example, define a string, then you have initialize it to this value. Now it is a reference, as you can see, because this look at the string and this one look at this string. Now, if you have assign near this one to Java, then we cannot change the content because it is immutable now. Now, if I have changed the value of s, the reference here should be removed and the reference here will be created again. So now this calls unreferable or unreferenced row. So Java will work again and automatically remove this garbage and will and this and because of that we Java has added, as we have said, string builder and string buffer. I will clear the drawing and go to next slide. In tier, the since strings are immutable and are frequently used to improve efficiency and save memory, the Java virtual machines use unique instance of a string literal, which is the same of character of sequence, such as instance is called interned. So example of the following: we have string s1, welcome to Java, a new Java, and we have s2. Now system.out.println s1 equal s2, and we will print s1 is s1 equal s3. Look at this code. Now we have s1, we have s2, and we have s3. Now an object is created if you use the new operator. If you use the string initializer, now a new object is created if the intended object is already created. So now here is S1, let's look at this. S3, let's look at this. So the intended string object for welcome to Java. Here a string object for welcome to Java. So if we have assigned the string directly to this statement or this statement, this is called intended string. Using this statement, this is called intended string. But if we have used this one, in that case we have created a string object. String object here. Usually, and we as C++, string, as we can deal with string also as sequence of character. So if I have welcome to Java, it means that welcome is array of character with ELCOME space TO space Java, and so on and so on. So string are a sequence of character. Intended string are initialized using the assignment operator, and the object string or string object are used creating the new keyword, the new keyword. Now let's take this for an instance and let's see what would happen. Here we will define this in our code here, sorry. I will try to show you the difference between these two statements here. Now I will define string S1, S2, and S3, and I will check if they are equal or not. So now here, what does Java, does it consider them equal or not equal? We have string, for example, sorry, string S1 equal hello, string S2 equal hello, the same. We have string S3 equal new string. This is the constructor and it contains the word hello. As you can see here, I have copied this value. Now I will print on the screen system put out println S1 equal S2. We will see S3 is equal this one. S3 is equal S2. Now I will print this value and run. As you can see here, the return result is true. But this one is not like this one. This is an entered string, and this is not entered string. So be careful when you compare these strings together. So be careful if you have used it in a search statement, for and if statement, or a switch case, they are not equal. They are here not equal. As you can see here, the result here is true, okay? But this one is not equal to this one. This is called intended string, and this is called string object. And they are not equal, so be careful if you have used it with them, or for and if search process, or matching process, and so on. Okay, guys, now I will continue again. Now I have stopped because of the prayer. Adhan. Now I will continue. I will go to next slide. As you can see here, we have run, and you have seen the result here. This is equal to false. So S3 is not equal to string. As I have said, be careful with if statement. Searching process, whatever you want to do, but be careful with this. Now, so you have to convert these to string. You have to use the word also dot to string to make them equal. So let's try to do this now. What would happen? Also, what I have said now, if we have used toString, this also will not change the result, as you can see here. So these are not equal string. True dot toString. The same, they are not equal. So also if you have used toString, they will not be equal. They will not be equal, as you can see here. I thought that they might be converted and be equal, but they are they are not. They were not. So these are not equal to. Now I will go to this one. String method, we have replace. We can use a new and we can pass the character. Replace, we have the old character, the new character, and the string. So we can search for the old character, replace it with the new character. Some of the students have used this in their lab. So this is return a new string and replace all matching character in the string with the new character. Replace only the first character of the string, the first matching substring. But here in the first method, we are passing character here. Okay. Now we have replace first. We pass substring, old string. This is the old string, and this is the new string, and the return value here is a string. The return value here is also a string. The return value is a string. But here we are replacing character. Here we are replacing substring with each other. We will search for this and replace it by the new one, and also we will search on this and we will replace it by the new one and replace all. Here we just would replace the first substring. Here we are going to replace all. Okay. This one, replace the character and replace all character. And look at this one, also replace all the substring, but we can here add string. but here we replace all character, but here, as you can see, we replace only the character. We can add or write only one character here and one character here. But here we can use replace all to replace all substring, and we can write string here. And split here also to split the character, return an array of a string consisting of the substring split by the delimiter. I will show you example about this, and that will be more clear to you, easier to you to understand. So again, replace the character, all the character. Replace the first string that you will find, the old string, and replace it with the new one. Replace all will replace all the old substring by the new string. Again, this is string, and this is only replace with character, and this is used with string. And we have split here. This is split string and put it inside array. Inside array of string based on delimiter. يعني فاصل. Okay. Now I will go to this here. Sorry. I will comment this. شوفوا هذا just an example. For example, here we have S1 Java string, sorry, S1 dot replace. For example, A by B, and we will print here this one. I will comment this code. Okay, here is the replace now. This one dot replace all character and a new character equal this one. As you can see here, I have used this replace A by B. So now the Java here is I have replaced B by A. No, now the result is here. Replace. So replace is used with character. Now let's see what would happen if I have used replace first. Just it will be easier to you to understand. Replace first take strings, guys. Let's see here. Was based on the method, based on what is written in the slide, it takes a string. So I have to put string here. Replace first will replace the first string. Now here, as you can see, I have replaced the first one A by B. Now let's try this. Again, replace all. Again, but replace all take a string, and it might be take string. For example, if I have GA here, it's supposed to replace all the GA by B. Run. I have B, Java, BA, B, as you can see here. And this is the result here. Okay. So again, there are a lot of methods, a lot of functions can be used in Java. Now here, I hope this is clear to you. Now I will go to next slide. I will comment this. We have some method, some replace method in Java with a string. I will just define this here, string S1, because I committed the line of code. And inshallah, we will see what would happen here with the string buffer and the string builder. Now, here is the replace. I replace EA, replace EAB, and whatever. This is what we have it right here. Here we have replaced welcome. Here we have replaced welcome. And here we have replaced AB, E with AB, and here we have replaced EL with AB. Replace first with replace. Replace with replace only. Replace here will replace all character. Here only it will replace welcome AB, AB, and here we are replacing EL with AB, and so on. Now here the split function. I think that I have written here the split function. I will show it to you now. Before I here is the split function before I talk about expression. Look at this, guys, here. This is the split function. But here I have used the split with expression, so I will leave this. Now I will go to the slide here. This one, as you can see here, is the output. What does the split function do here? I am telling I want to split this string based on this delimiter. Okay, starting from 0, the beginning here, starting from the beginning. In that case, sorry, again here. In that case, I will split this string. So Java here will be saved inside array called tokens. Guys, هذه Java here and will be splitted. This string will be splitted. راح يتقسم بناء على هذا الفاصل الموجود في الstring. So now this function automatically will search for hash and take the first word before hash and put it in the first element. Then it will take HTML and put it in the second. And then Perl put it in the third, and Java HTML Perl in the third. So we will have here 3 array of size 3 elements. Now here the split will return array of string based on the delimiter. So token now will contain 3 words, Java, HTML, Perl, but the string will be splitted based on the hash character. Now here, as any normal array, I have printed the value, and there is a space between them. So for int I equals 0, while I less than tokens dot length I plus plus I have printed these things, these tokens. So I will print Java space HTML. This is index of 0, 1, 2. For I equals 0, I will print Java, then I of 1, which is HTML, then I of 2, which is Perl. And there's a space between them as seen here. Now this is array of string. Okay. So the split function return array of string. And again, don't forget, if I have written here while I less or equal, I have to write here length -1. Other than that will cause a runtime error. Array index is out of boundaries. Now we can use the match function. We'll explain to you what is the matching and replacing and so splitting. We have talked about splitting, replacing. Now we will talk about the match. You can match, replace, split starting by specifying the pattern. It's extremely useful and powerful feature, commonly known as regular expression. Okay, so we will try to see the result of this. Now I will go and show you the example here that we have used regular expression with them. Here is the match. Okay. And here is the split with regular expression. شوفوا هذا الشباب regular expression. Okay. Look at this, guys. Now here we have S1 فيها welcome. هنطبع. We will print S1. Then when we will define another string, هذا راح نشوف الريتيرن فاليو لكل ماتش بناء على هذه الكتابة بالطريقة هذه، أو writing this one here like this, or writing this one like this, and what we are doing here in replace all. So as you can see here, you can find that there is something here between squared brackets. هذه الأقواس. هذا هنا regular expression. We can use this in most of the programming language. I can't see all because I did not try this in all the programming language. Reg expression. Okay, so you can pass it here something between the brackets. I will talk about this maybe after a few minutes. Now I will try this. I will run this for you one by one. Let's say this here. Look at this, guys. Okay, guys, just 1 minute, please. Okay, guys, again, I came back now. Sorry for this interruption. Now we have here welcome. Then I will print the value here of the first match. Now, here I am I am searching for tutorial, okay, and I have written here, as you can see, rounded brackets with dot star, dot star. Star mean, guys, in the computer science, 0 or nothing, 0 or not 0. In that case here, using the brackets, this brackets with this dot star, that mean here I want to search or to match str اللي هو this one اللي contains welcome to tutorials point and check the tutorial, the word tutorial here, regardless what is in the beginning before it and what is out يعني after it, regardless what is before the tutorial word and what is after the tutorial word, pre or post. So in that case, I will match this. If this match, I will run and see now. Okay, true. شو رجع لي هذه قيمة هنا؟ True. So they are matched. Now tutorial is there a word tutorial inside this string? This string, yes, true. So match, return true or false. This is one for welcome. Now we have str. Does str contains a value, a word called tutorial? Yes. Why I have said contains? Because we have added here dot star and here dot star. Here dot star on the right, on the left of tutorial, and here round brackets with dot star on the right. So here I am checking if there is a word tutorial inside this string. I don't care if it is before or it is after. I don't care what is after tutorial, and I don't care about what is before tutorial. It's just like I am asking if there a word tutorial inside this statement. Yes, it will return true. Okay. But now let's say that I have removed this one. Maybe here I have written an example. Yes, we will remove this one here. I will print now. The return value here now is false. Why it is false? When I remove this rounded brackets with the dot and the star from here, that means I want if this str contains at the beginning tutorial, regardless what is after tutorial here. No, tutorial is not at the beginning of this string. Tutorial is not at the beginning of this string. So it return false. Okay. So to make it return true again, I have added this here and here. That means I don't care what is at the before tutorial and what is after tutorial. I'm looking for this word, whether it was at the beginning or at the end or in the middle. Is there a word match tutorial inside the statement? Yes. So in that case, I will return it true. Okay. As you can see, when I have removed this, the return value was false. Now I will go to next match. Here we have also, sorry, just I should copy this and put it here. Here we have also, I am matching the tutorial here. Okay. the return value here is false because the first one here means does the statement equal or match the tutorial? No, because the tutorial here is it's not the whole, it is not like this statement. إذا أنا بدي إياها تصير true بعمل كده مثل الأول like the first one. Dot star and here dot star. That means I don't care what is in the beginning and the end. Run. نشوفه true. الآن صارت true. هذا الريزلت. وهذه الثانية true. طب what do we mean by this الثانية? The second one here. Now I want to check is welcome at the beginning of this one. Yes, it is at the beginning here. Yes, it is at the beginning, but I don't care what is after welcome. That means I don't care what is after, regardless what is after this word welcome. Does this str start or begins with welcome? Yes, it begins. So the result was true. Let's clear again and check this one. Here, suppose that I have removed this one. Now it will return false. Sorry, I should remove this round brackets and I will run. It will return, as you can see here, false. I want to return everything as it was. This will return, I want this to return false. And I want this to return true to make sure that you have understand what happened. Here, it does not, this statement does not this one is not equal this one, and this one is not equal this one. Okay, but this one is really start with this statement. And الويلكم هذه بتبدأ مع هذه. Okay, start with. But هذه no, not equal this one. If you want it to be true, then true, you should write it like this. Okay. Now as you can see here again, هذه الريزلت كانت true. This result is false. Okay. Now I will go to the third one, or here replace all. Again, replace all, used to replace all the string. Here we have used regular expression. That means here is the string that I am trying to replace. Here I am trying to replace $, or again, I am trying to replace all the string here with n. Type. What do we mean by these brackets, round squared brackets? Therefore, this is used for regular expression. That means I am going to replace any $, or capital or, see it, or any hashes by n. All. Why I replace all? Because I have written here replace all. If I have written replace first, I will replace the first one. So let's run this. Sorry, I will write it again. Replace all $, or hash by n. $, plus $, plus or hash by n. I am using here regular expression. This is a new concept for you. I am replacing any dollar sign or any plus symbol or any hash by NNN. I should look at this. Don't look at this result here. هذا هو. It was replaced. شوفوا الآن البلس بلس راحت by NN. البي is the same. We have dollar sign صار مكانها NNN. We have hash صار مكانها also NNN then C. Okay, so this is replace all. And the new idea that we are studying now is the irregular expression. Regular expression. This will help you a lot actually in string recognition and will help you a lot in a lot of things, to check digits, to check characters, to check symbols, and so on, without writing a complex code. No need to writing a complex code. Okay. Now I will go here. هذه token. We will talk about this again now, but let me take this comment here. We have talked about split function, but here, guys, this is for loop for O. Maybe this is confusing for you. Let's make it S. I writing S. I have written S because I is defined for me, so I don't want to define it again. Now here I am going to split this string here. If I have found dot or comma or colon or semicolon or a question mark. You know, if you want to write a complex code for this to split a function inside the array, if you have found dot or comma or colon or semicolon or a question mark, you will write, you know, many lines of code to do that. But let's take a look again and see how regular expression help you to distinguish عشان تميز هذا السترينج وتميز هذا الكاركتر and وتقسم السترينج وتعمل split. Do splitting for this string بشكل سريع وسهل وسلس in easy way. So here شوفوا الآن احنا طبعنا هذا الريزلت، راح اعمل split بناء على راح اشوف راح يدور راح now split راح تدور if there is a dot inside the string he will check. If there is a comma, yes هاي في comma. راح يقسم the string will be splitted بناء عليها. بتروح الجافا تنحط في السترينج رقم في الاري اللي اسمها توكن، ونحط في العنصر رقم 1. بكمل بدور على السي. هل السي تساوي هذول يعني دوت اور كوما او كولومز او سيمي كولوم او كويشن مارك؟ نو. بدور سي. اذا السي هذه بلقى هنا كويشن مارك بقسمها. اذا الكويشن مارك من ضمن الديليميتر اللي راح يقسم بناء عليها، فراح تيجي هنا السي. بعدين راح تيجي هنا سي هيو هاش. ليش؟ لأنه هو بقسم على هذا السيمبل. الهاش it is not among these symbol. في كوما بوقفها الكوما، بيعمل سلت بناء عليها على بيز على هذا الكلام، وبضيف هنا سي بلس بلس. فالتوكن اللي راح تنطبع عندكم اللي هي جافا سي شارب سي بلس بلس وسي بلس بلس. جافا وسي شارب and سي بلس بلس. Okay, this is a compiled statement here, so it the running is completed successfully with this exception. But however, it is run successfully, and we have splitted the code here. The token here have the statement here is converted to array of string and split it based on the symbol. This one, or I will write or, capital O, this one, or this one, or this one, or this symbol, or this symbol. So again, this will reduce the number of lines of code that you need. If you want to do a function like this without using the split and without using the pattern recognition, this will take you a lot of time. Okay. Now, guys, again, we will return to string buffer and string builder. Okay. Again, the string, as we have said, is immutable, but string buffer and string builder classes are immutable. Are not immutable, mutable, without im in the beginning, mutable. Yani they are not immutable. نفي النفي هو يعني إثبات mutable. Okay. طيب. What is the benefit of a string buffer and string builder? We have mentioned that in string, the usual string is immutable, but these classes of these string buffer and string builder classes are not immutable. Not immutable, they are mutable, and you can do whatever you want, like append, delete, append, and so on. Now we have, as we said here, string builder and string buffer. I will not talk about the differences between them, but in general we have performance issue differences في مش يعني فرق بينهم بالperformance والسرعة الperformance وفي يعني one class is better than the other في شغلة something called threading. In Java we can يعني distribute the task among CPU. يعني نقول هذا التاسك راح يشتغل الآن في السي بي يو T1. Then T2 will work after T2 will work after T1. After that we will يعني run T4 and whatever. And we can among these tasks using threads among not the same CPU, maybe between more than one CPU. يعني I can say that T1 will work here, T2 will work here in CPU 2, and T4 will work in CPU 1, and T3 will work, and task 3 will work on CPU 2. This is about the threading. You will study this in the next course, inshallah. But in general, there is a string builder and the string buffer. They are different in performance. Read about them if you like, and they are different in using the thread. Some of them perform one type is performing fast, the other type is performing slower. So and some of them is very good in using threads, and يعني one of the class is performing faster and the other class is performing slower, sorry, and some of them is better in using threads and the other is not. So here a small example of threads here. I will just before I run this example, I will comment and go to slide and go back, return back again here. I believe this is the last example. هذا الماتش والريبليس اللي شفتوها قبل شوي عملناها running هذه this one. Okay guys, and هاي الريزلت وهذا replace all لل NNN. We have run this and also run the matches here, and also run these. And here we have string builder and string buffer. As we have said, string builder is alternative of this to the string. Okay, string buffer and string builder can be used instead of string. String buffer and string builder are more flexible, yes, and we can also add, insert, append the string we want. But as we have said again, string buffer and string builder are different in some cases, in performance, in some points in performance, and in using threads. Okay, you can read more about this and find these differences. They are different in mainly 2 points. In performance, they don't have the same performance. One of the classes is faster than the other, and also they are different in using the thread. Here is our okay. Here is our example. Here we have defined a string, then we have added 2 KSA to it, then we have added 1 to this function. It is like concatenation. We have this string, we have concatenated to this one, then we have concatenated to 1. So the results here will be welcome to KSA1. Welcome to KSA1. As you know, if we have add string to integer, there will be a concatenation. Right. So the result here will be welcome to KSA1. I think we have run here such one. I will run now again. Here we have a welcome to KSA1. Okay. Welcome to KSA1. Welcome. I have concatenated with KSA, then I have concatenated 1. I have printed using toString and string. It is the same result. Welcome to KSA1. Welcome to KSA1. Now also I have printed the capacity. The capacity for this one, welcome to KSA. Welcome to KSA1 is 23 بايت. يعني هذا له ممكن يوسع لحد 23. طيب. الكاباسيتي له هي لأنه string هو تحول ال str1 هو هنا 23. Let's count 1 2 3 4 5 6 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 1 2 3 4. فالكاباسيتي لل str1 هو كم؟ 14. طب why 14؟ أنا حولته للسترينج فالكاباسيتي له أصبحت 14 هي. 14. طيب sorry again here we have appended this one to str1. Okay, now if you have printed the capacity للstr after appending راح يكون هو السايز تاعه الكاباسيتي له هي 14 يعني 1 2 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 1 2 3 4 14 هاي الكاباسيتي له str هي 14. Okay, now if you have converted it to string, as you can see here, I have written this one. str1 dot to string ss2. ss2 system.out.println ss2. هذه. Now here the capacity is 23. So let's take a look at the capacity here in the slide and see. There is a capacity for the default value. I will talk to this with you. I will talk with you about this now. الآن هذه دوت string بتحول للstring. الكاباسيتي بترجع لك الكاباسيتي of the string builder. طيب الchar at we have studied this بترجع لك الكاركتر في موقع معين. اللينث بترجع اللينث. Can we change the length of the string? Yes, we can change the length of the string using setLength. Can we return substring starting from start index? Yes, we can. So we can use substring. Also, we can use start index and end index. Okay. And we have also a trim to size. A trim to size. This will reduce the storage size used for the string builder. So now I will again to string return a string capacity بترجع لك الكاباسيتي للstring builder. Okay. الchar add بترجع لك الكاركتر. We have studied this at specific index. Most of these methods are exist in the string, but in the string the class is immutable, but here is these are mutable. Because these are immutable, I can return the length. I can change the length. Also, I can return a substring here, starting at, and also I can write start and end for the string. Return a string from start index to end index, and trim to size to reduce the capacity of string builder. So this is the new one here. هي الكاباسيتي وعندنا اللي هي trim size. Trim to size, we will run them to you here. طيب. شوفوا الآن here شباب راح نقول له كده. For example عشان تكون الأمور واضحة. clear to you. أول شيء راح نجرب الأبند، بعدين راح نشوف الكاباسيتي هذه. خليني أعمل كذا comment welcome to KSA. As you can see here, we have appended this string buffer. Okay, now I will try now. We have finished this one. I will keep the definition here to welcome, and I will keep this line of code because I am going to use them down. Now here, guys, we will check the capacity. Now I will print, see here, str1 dot capacity. I will put it here at the beginning. Okay, and I will leave this like this. dot capacity. الآن بترجع لك الكاباسيتي للstring builder. وباي ديفولت الكاباسيتي هي بتكون بلس 14 بلس 9 الكاباسيتي. يعني السايز للSTR now هو 14 plus 9 which is 23. طيب خلينا نشوف الآن كذا system، نعرف string، نقول له هذا string هو space nothing فاضي، نسميه str2، then we will print the capacity for it. The capacity for str2. This is a string builder, string buffer or string builder. Now we will run. كم أعطاني؟ هنا سوري str2 اعتبر لي 16. So default space not 9, sorry, it is 16. But why in the previous result here we have printed 23? Because we have, guys, here will come only one. Sorry, I يعني concatenate this, but these not يعني did not change the string. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 plus 16 which is 23. يعني هذه will come فيها ال str. اوكي الآن قلت له str.capacity يعني it means time plus 16 which is 23. Now the string builder للspace nothing is 16. So str.capacity لهذا str2 which is space الديفولت capacity لها له كم؟ 16. الديفولت capacity لأي string buffer عبارة عن الطول plus 16. فهذا طوله كم؟ 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. 7 plus 16 which is 23. طيب شوفوا الآن what would happen إذا أنا قلت له str1 trim to size بعدين قلت له str1 print الكاباسيتي يعني الآن sorry system.out.print عملت تريم للكاباسيتي هذه str1.trim to size راح يرجعها لحجمها الطبيعي بعدها راح يطبع لك النتيجة. شوفوا الآن شوفوا 23 then 16 then we have 14. اوكي 14 اللي هو يعني هذه مع 1 هذه 7 8 7 8 9 10 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 and with the 1 14. فهو trim to size رجع لك اياه للحجم الطبيعي trim to size وبعدها طبع لك الكاباسيتي. اوكي ودت to string بتحول and to string will convert it to a string. I know يعني this is somehow confusing. No one can memorize all of these, but we will try يعني to help you to understand what is happening. So we have a string buffer. The default string buffer if it was space capacity for string buffer is 16. إذا استخدمت مع string عادي عرفت string buffer من نوع string وضفت فيه كلمة the capacity will be 16 plus 16 plus يعني هنا الويلكم هي 7 الويلكم هنا هي 7 الويلكم هي 7 فطبع لك اللي هي 16 plus sorry 16 plus 7 which is 23. هي هنا 23 وهنا 23. الآن الديفولت للسبيس هو 16. طيب str trim to size شو رجع لك؟ بعد trim to size بعد ما عملت append هو عملهم concatenation، جمعهم في هذا السترينج واخذ الافكت تاعه ورجعهم للحجم الطبيعي لهم بدون الكباسيتي الزايده هذه اللي هي 16. يعني هو عمل append ل 1 2 3 4 5 7 بلس 6 بلس 1 7 plus 6 13 plus 1 14. So this is the result. I believe you need to try this يعني at your home to make everything is clear, because we have يعني a lot of function and a lot of method. Last thing guys اللي هو regular expression. I have talked about this in the previous slide. There's about something called regex. Define a search for button for string. If you want to match, you want to replace, you want to search, you want to find first, find last, check something, use regular expression, because this will simplify the code for you. Okay, simplify the code for you. contain special character. ممكن تعرف كم digit بدك تدور على digit you can search for 0 to 9. you want character, you can add just character plus hash question mark semicolon to search for this. If you want capital letter you will find A to Z. If you want small letter A to Z, so you can match easily. If you did not write expression or regular expression in your string or matching, the code will be very more complex for you and very complex. So to simplify your code and reduce the number of lines that needed to check if the string contains something, contains string or number or digits or symbol, use regular expression. And you can specify whether to match one time or several times using the star or the pluses or the dot. And also you can you replace, split as we have said, or match. And also you can specify you want to match the first part, the last part, all parts, replace one, replace several times, whatever you want. And again you can use A to Z or A capital to Z capital, 0 to 9, and any special character as we have mentioned in our examples before. Here are also, I think this is useful one for you, some regular expression you might need to use in your code. This is not for memorizing. You don't have to memorize these. مش مطلوب تحفظها، ولكن مطلوب إنك if you need them you will know how to use them. For example, this for digit, non-digit, word character, non-word character, white spaces, 0 or more, 1 or more. شوفوا star دائما معناها إن الكمبيوتر 0 or 1 or more. Okay, 0 or 1 occurrence of a button. So you might need these in the future. And again, I advise everyone, if he wants to distinguish or recognize a string, not to use a complex code or write a complex code and a lot of function. He can use regular expression. And here we are advising you to use this site also. And try to run some code using regular expression. This will help you a lot. Okay, guys, thank you for listening. I tried my best to record this video for you, and I wish that you will hear it and you will study hard and you will listen carefully to this video to understand classes, Ravari classes, big decimal, big integer, and to understand string buffer, string builder, and regular expression. Thank you and good luck.